So, guys, I'm not kidding. While I'm on earth, I want to spend time with everyone here because my hope is the heavenly hope. I want to go to heaven and I want to be part of a life with God there. I pray with God, I'm close to God, and I want to be with God. Once I pass away, I want to go to heaven and I want to stay there. And I hope New Jerusalem comes down out of the heavens and that I have my men and my sisters. And that's all I've ever wanted, ever. To have the kids that are here already be happy and to mingle and play with the ones that are here and teach them and have them learn. So that they do have a heavenly hope or an earthly hope, so they have a good afterlife after they're dead and gone, because then they have hope. Then they have something they can benefit from instead of just being a base to their household that they grew up in and not having a afterlife at all, but just it's like being stuck, you know what I mean? If you're stuck and you're sinning, you're not in a good place. And that's what I've got to say. I've seen the mistakes with my mom, and I've seen the mistakes with my dad, and I've seen the suffering of kids that were in adoption homes and stuff that was already here. And I don't want my child or my seed going through that. That is the one thing that I fear, that I hate, and that I'm so disgusted over, that I would ever have my seed here for them to experience that, because I know my children deserve a better world. I know that my seed's gonna be here, but I also know I'll go to prison over my seed. See, that's the thing. I'm not helping myself there, am I? I would go to prison, and then the kid wouldn't have a mother. It may not have a father, and you have no guarantee if the father is going to be decent if you're not there. You have no guarantee because you can't protect them once you're gone, or protect them once, your relatives take care of them, and whatever they go through, And sure, we have God's grace and mercy and stuff like that, sure. But in the end, sin is sin, and it leads to death and suffering. And I'm against that because I feel when you live in obedience to God, you enjoy the reward of His relationship, His work, His healing, His joy, And I don't deserve that. I don't deserve an abusive man. I don't deserve some guy going and molesting my children or committing incest against them. And there's so much of the world that is sick that cognitively they cannot see right from wrong. They cannot. And that is the honest to God truth. And even where we live, like here in Missouri, it's bad because the whole county's known for it. I might as well say it, the whole county's known for it. And I would protect my friends' kids, but I wouldn't have any wishes for my own to be here. So for me, when it comes up, it makes me want to cry. It makes me want to just rip my hair out and cry because I know what I would be putting my child through, and I know what they'd experience, and I know they'd be privy to a system that may not care about them the way it didn't care about me. So why bring a child into that? And in the end, if I found someone decent, I still don't think I'd be in love with having kids. Just because, like, if something goes wrong, I'm gonna lose my head. I got a bad temper. And it's hard. It's hard living this life. And bringing a child into the mix makes it that much more harder and makes you more temperamental, unable to control yourself. You're weak and privy and vulnerable to these other people because you have a child. And the way I look at it is, for the people who do okay, good. They do okay. But I look after the people I know because I know that's the way it is. And so for me, I just never ever want kids here. I don't. Because I know they will suffer, and this is an imperfect world. I don't want my seed to suffer, basically, is what it is, the way I did. Because I suffered through a lot. And so when I think about it, it breaks me into little pieces, and I just feel too vulnerable. So that's my reasoning behind it. It's never been that one certain person sinned against me. It's the fact that people live in sin. They live in their sins, and most of the time they choose the sin over the correct behavior. So that for me was a deal breaker, because I knew how I suffered. I knew how they hurt me. So for me to do it, I never wanted to, ever, just because I knew. I knew they'd hurt him. I knew they'd try to kill him. Because they've tried to do it with me, And so, what can you say once you do bring them in and they're suffering against all these people in the world who, don't have no reason to make people suffer in the first place? Just because you're this or just because you're that, you're not good enough. At first, to begin with, society, look at the norms they put on people. Do you really think that kids grow up happy, or do you think they suffer a lot? Because I see a lot of suffering, I believe that in the right situation they could thrive, but that it can only be temporary. And so that's why my heart is against it. Peace. Bye.